Hi, it's Johnny Brooks Davis, and it's been a while since I spoke to anyone about my most favorite team in the world, my New York Mets. So recently the New York Mets have been purchased by Steve Cohen, and a lot of people are optimistic that he's going to just spend the funds in order to help us get players to lead us to a championship. But so far, this offseason, the Mets have sort of caught a break as Robinson Cano has been suspended for the second time in his career for performance-enhancing drugs. The Robinson Cano suspension means that the Mets will save $20 to $24 million off the books from Robinson Cano. And Robinson Cano, he had a very good 2020 season. He finished the season with a .316 batting average and 10 home runs and 30 RBIs in 49 games. Robinson Cano was actually one of the best hitters in the New York Mets lineup, but with $20 to $24 million saved on the books, it could mean that they could go for a guy like a DJ LeMahieu. Yes, a lot of fans want the potential former crosstown rival New York Yankee player DJ LeMahieu to come to the New York Mets in Queens. DJ LeMahieu finished the 2020 season with 10 home runs and 27 RBIs in 50 games. He also had a .364 batting average. Ever since DJ LeMahieu came to the New York Yankees, he had been such a huge bright spot in the Bronx. DJ LeMahieu, you can make the argument that he probably should have won the 2019 American League Most Valuable Player Award. In an offense that features Giancarlo Stanton or Aaron Judge, both of them, DJ LeMahieu, he helped the Yankees make it to the American League Championship Series. Don't forget Game 6 when the Yankees were down by 2 to the Houston Astros in the American League Championship Series, and DJ LeMahieu managed to tie the game, almost probably helping the Yankees make it into a Game 7 in Houston. But DJ LeMahieu, he'll be a very good piece to the New York Mets, even though Jeff McNeil and J.D. Davis are primarily infield pieces. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Mets can do there. As for another signing, Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer finished the 2020 Major League Baseball season with a .173 ERA, or a 1.73 earned run average. He was a Cy Young Award winner, and he went 5-4 in 11 games, and he's one of the most coveted free agents that are on the market right now. The New York Mets have sort of been looking at him. A lot of fans are optimistic to get him, but Trevor Bauer can mean a lot to a New York Mets depleted pitching staff. Jacob deGrom needs a solid number 2. And Noah Syndergaard, we do not know when he's coming back, especially since recovering from Tommy John surgery. Marcus Stroman recently re-signed with the Mets, and David Peterson is going into his second season under contract as a New York Met, and we do not know what Steven Matz is going to bring. But Trevor Bauer could be a solid number 2 option, right behind Jacob deGrom. Imagine 2 Cy Young Award winners in your starting rotation, 1 and 2. I like the sound of that personally. Another option for the New York Mets is George Springer. George Springer finished the 2020 season with 14 home runs and 32 runs batted in with a .265 batting average. Center field is one of the causes or one of the things that the Mets supposedly need to improve on. So it'll be a good solid signing if the Mets manage to get George Springer. He was also the 2017 World Series Most Valuable Player, and he played a pivotal role in helping the Astros achieve the World Series over the Los Angeles Dodgers. But thank you for listening to that. I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you 3 key sleeper free agents that the Mets should look at. I'll be back after the break.
They gon' love me for my ambition. Easy to dream a dream, though it's harder to live it. They gon' love me for my ambition.
welcome back. Now, I'm going to give you 3 sleeper free agents that I think that the New York Mets should think about. My number 1 is James McCann, and I'll start it off this way. James McCann, he is actually a pretty solid sleeper free agent that the Mets could and probably should look into. He finished the 2020 season with 7 home runs and 15 RBIs in a limited role due to the fact that the Chicago White Sox had brought in Yasmani Grandal. He finished the 2020 season with a .289 batting average, but people forget about his 2019 stats. James McCann finished 2019 with 18 home runs, 60 runs batted in, and he was an all-star, and he finished out with 118 games played. I see that James McCann would be a lot less pricier than a guy like JT Realmuto, and he could put up some very good defensive and offensive numbers and stats and plays. The Mets should look into him. He could be looking to revive his career since he got limited playing time in 2020. Another key free agent that I think that the Mets should look into is Jake Odorizzi. James McCann would do well behind the dish, but he could be catching to a guy like Jake Odorizzi. Jake Odorizzi finished the 2019 season with a 15-7 record with a 3.51 earned run average. He was also an all-star in 2019, and Jeremy Hefner was his pitching coach. In 2020, he was riddled with injuries, and he went 0-1 with a 6.59 earned run average. Jeremy Hefner was Jake Odorizzi's pitching coach in 2019, and he helped Jake, that is my mistake. He helped Jake get to be an all-star. I think it would be pretty good to have 2 Jakes, pretty great to have 2 Jakes in our starting rotation. Jake Odorizzi, if he could come back, especially after dealing with his injuries in 2020, he could be a good 3rd, 4th, maybe a 5th starter for the New York Mets as he is trying to get his career back on track. Jake Odorizzi has shown some promise of being a pretty good pitcher, and I think that he would be a good, solid pickup for the New York Mets. My last option, or my last person, is Didi Gregorius. Didi Gregorius finished the 2020 season with 10 home runs and 40 runs batted in with a .284 batting average. My reason for Didi Gregorius is because Didi Gregorius, if New York Mets fans could say that the Mets should pursue DJ LeMahieu on the infield, why not Didi Gregorius also? Didi Gregorius finished with a .284 batting average, which is pretty solid. I know that the New York Mets already have Andres Gimenez and Ahmed Rosario, but if you could put Didi Gregorius on the infield to help platoon or help get some starts in there, I think that Didi would actually help the Mets offensively, and he could take over Robinson Cano's role. The Mets have some options in free agency, but also, they could make a trade or two. As for trades with the New York Mets, I don't think that it would be necessarily the smartest thing right now, especially with a depleted farm system. But it's still an option for them. Rumors like Nolan Arenado or Francisco Lindor, I highly suggest that the Mets don't do it. But anyways, those are 3 sleeper free agents that I think that the Mets could pursue, and they still have guys like George Springer, Trevor Bauer, and DJ LeMahieu that they could pursue via free agency. Anyways, I'll be back. I'm Jarvis Davis. Please keep reading my articles, and I'll talk to you later.